So we had a bit of a glitch here. I am going to just kind of pick again is what scares you most about getting a coach. And so hopefully this string will not drop. I'm not really sure what more I can do right now. So hopefully we can keep going with this. So my apologies on behalf of AT&T. That's all I'll say. All right. So the next area that I tend to hear a lot about is in terms of skepticism about coaches' qualifications. And so, as I mentioned a little bit before, I think that sometimes there are, a lot of this, I think, any skepticism there is can be eliminated if we are looking and doing our due diligence as people who are interested in getting coaches. And so that's either we're going to be asking for referrals or checking out maybe groups on social media, whether it be LinkedIn or Facebook, in terms of where we know coaches are, and finding out as well if we are able maybe to find a website, what their methodology is that they're certified in, and then that we make sure that we are going and checking out. And so a lot of that is on us to do the due diligence as people who are looking to hire coaches. We want to make sure that we have their as much information as is possible for us to continue to work through um, the vetting process, and getting to make sure that we have done what we need to do to working with people who we believe are going to be the best for us. There's a lot that we need to do around that. Um, so that's why I say the referrals are great. If you can go, whatever research you can find is going to be really important to help you with that piece. So don't let that be something or a reason that's preventing you from getting more information and getting involved in the coaching process. Also, challenges or concerns around vulnerability, privacy, confidentiality, and self-disclosure. And being a very private person myself, I totally understand what some of those concerns would be. And so I think that if we are able to sit back for a second and think about, again, I always go to the end game and what does it want? What do I want to have as an outcome? And do I believe this person can get me to it? So yes, we do have to be transparent. We do have to be vulnerable. We do have to perhaps, and it's up to you, decide what level of privacy you are willing and comfortable with sharing. Um, and so when I'm about to, or I'm having the conversation with potential clients, there's a number of things they go through before I'm actually even talking with them about, and in a coaching session. And there's questions that I ask that I don't believe are terribly invasive. People give whatever level of input or insight that they want me to have about what is going on with them. And I believe for the most part with the people that I have coached have found me to be very trustworthy and a person that's comfortable in talking with them, because what I'm more so concerned about is the outcome, what they want through the process. Not so much that I'm there certainly to be their friend, because that's not what I'm there for. So I see myself in a very professional category or environment when I'm dealing with my clients. And so it's not surgical. I wouldn't use the term surgical approach that I have, but I am I'm going to be as detailed in maybe follow-up questions as I need to be Again, to make sure that I am helping them stay congruent with what they said they wanted and making them feel comfortable enough at the same time to be honest. Because it's like, just like if you went to a doctor, and so whatever the solution is that they have for you, you're going to miss it completely because they don't have all the information. And again, I say if you're going to invest money and you're going to invest time, then it is in your best interest to find a coach that you feel comfortable enough with, that you can have and divulge things that maybe you wouldn't to a family member or a friend, because this person is in a particular area and they are trained to help you get the outcomes. They don't get the outcomes for you. You are the ones that is leading the charge, and the individual coach is helping to kind of pave the way for you to do that. So, um, yes, there is a degree of self-disclosure. Yes, there is a degree of vulnerability. Um, a lot of coaches, and in a lot of these spaces that you sign off, I know with the methodology that I use, you do have to sign off um, on a dotted line, aware of the level of coaching that you're going to be getting, what's going to be the parameters of the coaching, and certainly us as certified, because I am certified, am required to keep a certain level of confidentiality, or keep confidentiality is expected. And so you'll see that on the paperwork that I ask you to sign. So, and this is a probably, it should be regular or common. If it's not, I don't know, because I'm not very familiar with other types of coaching methodologies. So I couldn't speak to that, but I know with certified high performance coaching, um, we are required to let you know that yes, we are going to be held to a standard of excellence and a standard of confidentiality as professionals in this space. Next is the fear of judgment. So that might kind of go into the concern about confidentiality and privacy. I'm not here to judge. I don't judge. I don't think any of us are in that space if we're going to call ourselves professionals that we're here judging. Certainly not your coach. Okay. If you are looking for honest feedback and you're looking to get better, you do need to be challenged. And so, again, when I do that, I'm usually just challenging you in spaces where I'm asking you to think differently or think about what you said uh, in the a past connect. How is that disconnect serving you or not serving you? Is that something that you want to bridge the gap on? So we are in this together. And so I am not standing back and pointing fingers and saying, well, no, you shouldn't have done this. Well, what you should have done was, I'm not here to give advice. I don't give advice. What I give is perspective. And that is what you pay me for. I get paid for perspective. I get paid to push my. And a lot of those two things, certainly, among other things that I do, are things that you may not get from talking to a friend, a family member, a pastor. You get that from a coach. And so there's no fear of judgment in working with this coach. I'll tell you that much. Then there's a fear of change or resistance to personal growth. Okay. Now, the assumption would be that if you're coming to a coach and you're hiring a coach, then you already know you want to get better. So you know that you're going to have to do things a little bit differently, and that requires change. All right. Um, and at the same time, that change is difficult, and you will be challenged to do things and show up and maybe adapt in ways that you're not comfortable with doing um, at the moment that you're coming into the space. Okay, so it may bring something a little bit different to you as you are as you are working with me as a coach or any coach. And so that's the different, it's, you have to show up differently. You have to show up open. You have to show up receptive. You have to show up willing to look at things differently. And so that requires you to recognize what the bigger goal and gain is, and wanting that more than you want to stay the same. I go back to what we were talking about before in terms of opportunity. You have an opportunity to grow, you have the opportunity to stay the way you are. And so change is going to push you, and is a space for you to do something differently. And so we talk about that specifically in one of our sessions on courage, because there's a fear of change, there's a fear of the whole process, is of the outcome that's going to come from it. A lot of us are scared because if we know better, we're going to have to do better. That is totally understood. But again, I go back to why do you want to be coached? So that's why you got to be really clear about why you want it. You got to want it bad enough. And then finally, we look at the stigma associated with seeking help or support. So in this time that we're in now, we're hearing a lot about mental health. And I'll say this, I am not a therapist. I do not have a degree in psychology. I have taken a few classes in it, but by no means am I an expert, or do I know I would ever equate myself or what I do with therapy, because that is not it. As a coach, I am working to take you from where you are to where you want to be. In therapy, you are taking several steps back in your past to kind of assess what was going on with you that may be preventing you from moving forward. So certainly if I'm engaged in a conversation at any point with you, when I recognize that there may be some trauma involved with what you're sharing, then I would certainly recommend that you find a therapist that you can talk to unpack a lot of that and get some healing and perspective, and set and be settled in what you need to do next. And the next thing you likely should be doing is coaching. And then, that would be a time to have a conversation with you about, okay, you're here and you want to do in the future. Certainly not a therapist. And I say that very clearly to people, that that's not what I am. So the stigma, there should really be no stigma. There shouldn't be any stigma, whether it's a therapy session or a coaching. There's no stigma, because in both instances, you are working to get better. You're working to do things better. You're working to improve your outcomes, and so there should be no stigma about any efforts that you are making to do things better and do things differently for yourself, to bring yourself um, closer to what ideal looks like for you, or what is optimal for you. So there should be no stigma, or any judgments, or, as you talked about before, there's a space of 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 growth, and I need help in doing that. So with that, those are the kind of the 9 areas, and hopefully you'll have some interest in checking out the video that I did on that a little more, because it has probably some more aspects too that I didn't cover tonight. But hopefully that is given you a sense of what some of those things, that questions you may have had in the back of your mind, that you may find had been keeping you away from thinking about, or even making the effort to seek a coach. I applaud your efforts if it's looking to do, and hopefully I'll be someone you're comfortable doing that with. And if so, please take a moment to check in the description below. I have a link to my website where I talk more. You'll find more about me, and more about the certified high performance coaching methodology that I practice with my clients. And then there's also a link there to a questionnaire for you to complete that will give me a idea about how we can what are some of the areas that you may find the best value in terms of getting a coach. And so it'll be a kind of a jump off start for us to actually have a conversation when we are in the point get to the point of doing a strategy session. So usually what happens is you'll complete that application. Once I review it, if I find that there's some synergies and a benefit to us talking more, then I will connect with you to schedule a free certified high performance coaching strategy session. And that is 1 hour long. We go over the 5 areas of high performance: clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. And you were comfortable enough with me to make an investment in working with me as your coach. I coach in 12-week increments. So we would commit to 12 weekly sessions of coaching. I find that weekly is the most effective because this is the shortest period of time between. I'll give you a week usually to review the email that I sent you, review the notes that I send you, do the worksheets, because this is worksheets. This is a curriculum-based methodology. And for you to just have some time to reflect before we come back and meet for our next session. I usually, in the beginning of the next session, would ask you what your takeaways were from that, how the experience was with the worksheets, and then we would go into our session. So I certainly hope that this has been helpful to you and answered some questions for you. And so I am here. Please connect with me where you feel that you are. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat and let me know. And until next time, be safe and blessed. Have a great